On 12th September 2019, PMC Bank published their annual report where they highlighted their performance like this. With almost all the parameters glittering as gold, there were no signs of warning whatsoever. In all these parameters, what they did not reveal is that out of their total advance portfolio of 8,383 crores, rupees 6,500 was marked to one particular group, that is HDIL, whose main business was real estate. Do you know how much RBI has stipulated as prudential exposure? It's roughly around 15% of bank's capital for single borrower and 40% for group borrowers. So the exposure of 78% of their total advance portfolio and 6.66 times their net owned funds was well beyond the comfort position of any investor, depositor, and even the regulator. What happened next was a complete collapse of the PMC Bank, followed by multiple restrictions imposed on them by RBI, which literally took the lives of many. Everyone spoke about the problems, but we will talk about solution. Yes, you guessed it right. Banking arrangement for large exposure. Banks in India primarily deals in following types of arrangement: consortium finance, multiple banking arrangement, loan syndication, joint lending arrangement. So, whenever there is a big exposure, multiple banks or financial institution comes forward and take their share depending on their risk appetite. Today, we will talk about consortium finance. If you stay with us till the end, you will learn what is a consortium finance, RBI guidelines in consortium finance, how a consortium is formed, how this is beneficial for the borrower, roles of the lead bank, roles of member bank. Consortium lending is a mechanism whereby a borrower takes a large loan from two or more banks by making a common application. Bearing the rate of interest and service charge, all the terms and conditions set out in the consortium contract are common. A common loan agreement and joint deed of hypothecation are used when a loan is provided by a consortium of lenders. Around 30 years back, RBI actually had a policy on the consortium, but post-liberalization era it was scrapped in 1996. The motive was to give flexibility to the banks on credit decisions. So at present, there are no fixed guidelines to be followed in India. The rules of the game are decided by the players themselves, that is, members participating in the consortium. But there are some best practices suggested by Central Vigilance Commission, Government of India, and those are issued in form of circular by Reserve Bank. At the time of granting fresh facilities, bank may obtain declaration from the borrower about the credit facilities already enjoyed by them from other banks in format now appearing on your screen. Subsequently, banks should exchange information about the conduct of the borrower's account with other banks in this format, at least at quarterly intervals. Obtain regular certification by a professional, preferably a company secretary, chartered accountant, or cost accountant, regarding the compliance of various statutory prescriptions that are in vogue. It looks like this and also known as due diligence certificate. Make greater use of credit reports available from a credit information company like CIBIL, CRIF, Experian, etc. The bank should incorporate suitable clauses in the loan agreements regarding exchange of credit information so as to address confidentiality issues. That's all you have as a formal or official communication. Now let me try to throw some light on how things happen practically from my own experience. First, the lead bank does the assessment of the proposal. It then issues a sanction letter clearly stating the following: assessed limit, let us suppose it's 500 crores, lead bank share, let's say it's around 300 crores, and the available gap or the untied portion, in this case it is 200 crores. New loans usually have conditions that funds will be released subject to completion of financial tie-up with other banks, thus ensuring the financial viability of the project. Next, the company brings in other banks on board to take the exposure of the available gap. After that, the first consortium meeting is arranged among the lead bank, member banks, and the company. This meeting is meant only for an acquaintance of the parties in the consortium and exchange of sanction letters. Loan documentation and consortium agreements are completed in subsequent meetings. But very few of you are fortunate to be part of a consortium since its birth. Usually, new banks join in an existing consortium when a gap is available due to an increase in eligibility of loan amount on account of reassessment, or existing members want to reduce their exposure due to various reasons. This is a great way to increase the advance figure of your branch. Remember, other members have already streamlined the process well before you enter. Time-taking things such as legal, valuation are already taken care of by the lead bank. You have comfort that some reputed bank has already done the assessment of the limit and you have to only verify the same. But be cautious because everything that glitters is not gold. Now let us see how this is beneficial for the borrower. Suppose ABC Steel Private Limited has a working capital loan of 200 crores with XYZ Bank. The company repays its dues in time and is a good borrower. Now it approaches the bank for an additional loan of 50 crores, but the bank has a substantial exposure in the steel sector where there is a sudden increase in NPA in its own balance sheet. So the management is not willing to take any further exposure. This kind of situation has become more prominent after amalgamation of public sector banks and merging of their loan portfolios. Herein, a consortium arrangement can save the customer from the unnecessary hassles of a takeover, and it's a win-win solution for both the parties. Now let us quickly glance to the responsibility of the lead bank. Assessment of exposure, circulation of the assessment note, preparation of joint documentation, creation of charge on the company's securities. Remember, only lead bank's charge shall be visible in the MCA website. Mortgage of securities and SERSAI asset ID creation, issuance of security perfection certificate, conducting and coordinating unit visits along with other banks, communication of drawing power every month to the member banks, conducting consortium meeting, generally held in every quarter, as well as on announcement of financial results for the year. Now let us see the roles of member banks. They have to carry out their own assessment based on lead bank sanction, exchange of information with other member banks and the lead bank, of course quarterly, attending consortium meeting and conveying their views and observation, accompany the lead bank for unit visit. Remember, member bank's assessment can be different from lead bank. Usually, everyone falls in line, but there is no compulsion for the same. Just few days back, while working on a proposal, I noticed from the balance sheet that the company has made an investment in the group company and termed that as a current investment. So I went on to classify that current investment as non-current investment. Consequently, that changed the MPBF calculation as well. I went ahead and recommended for reduction of our exposure proportionately. As a member bank, you are free to take your own decision and put riders that suits the risk appetite of your bank. Just don't forget to inform that to the lead bank and other member banks.